and you're going on a trip to Thailand, for example, and you're staying in these cheap hostels because you don't really have much money, that is the best time of life because money doesn't matter.
Well, I've been trying to plan a Disney cruise.
Oh, for sake, that's
for us
insanely expensive.
If I could pay off my credit card right now, I would!
As I've been scrolling on social media, I've been noticing a lot of people taking vacations they can't afford. People are blowing their money on vacation in so many ways, whether they're traveling with $8 in their bank account, using buy now, pay later, or being delusional thinking it'll all work out. Society seems to love having debt. As the channel grows, it'd be great getting comments from you guys. I really appreciate all the ones I've gotten so far. All right, let's get into it.
I'm 150K in debt and I still solo travel and I make that my priority.
My finances, the budgeting, you see how I am.
This is a message for Chase Bank and Chase Bank only. I know. I know. If I could pay off my credit card right now, I would.
The pattern never gets old to me. Step 1, someone wants to go on vacation. Step 2, they can't afford it, so they put it on a credit card. Step 3, they can't pay it back and go to the internet to complain. How come nobody ever learns? It's like people would rather work their lives away for mistakes they made in the past.
Unpopular opinion, but one of the best times you can travel is when you don't have money. I know that sounds insane, but I was on TikTok yesterday. I saw a girl who was posting about a hostel she was staying in, and like all the comments were like, ew, don't go to hostels, blah, 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 right? And she was like, well, I couldn't really afford it. Like that was the only place I could stay. And he was like, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be traveling. I'm like, bitch, no. If you don't have money when you are traveling in your early 20s, late 20s, I don't really care. And you're going on a trip to Thailand, for example, and you're staying in these cheap hostels because you don't really have much money, that is the best time of life because money doesn't matter.
But money does matter. What is wrong with these people? How many people have we seen on my channel so far who legitimately crash out because they've wrecked their finances? Once your finances are destroyed, it's a really tough road for a couple of years. Life is filled with things you never expected. It's important to have money so that you can afford everything that happens. Like right now, I'm dealing with a situation where there are multiple holes in my ceiling. A skunk crawled down my power wire and entered my attic, so now my landlord has to shell out a bunch of money to fix it. They had to redo my roof too. Now what if my landlord decided he wanted to go on a luxury vacation instead? You can't just be like, sorry Andrew, I can't fix your roof this weekend because Taylor Swift is playing in Vegas. Good luck though.
Speaking of traveling, who else goes on vacation broke as hell? Because I know I do. I'm going to Bali in a few days. To be fair, when I booked this trip, I was supposed to have a job. Booked this trip like last year. So I expected like everything would be normal. I freelance for a startup and there's always risk associated with that. But when I least expected it, my client was like, yeah, we're donezo, like come May. And once again, going on a vacation broke. I didn't think that this would happen.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. What's that famous quote? Life is what happens when you're busy making plans. I hope she at least got a refundable ticket. If you are going to travel, I totally recommend you do that. It's helped me more than once when I've needed to reschedule. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Girl, this is me currently. I leave tomorrow. Coming across this video is making me feel much better about it. Def wasn't intentional on your part, but hey, YOLO. Bali is cheap though, so enjoy.
Making the decision to travel when you're young and broke at any means necessary is so much better than waiting until you're old, retired, and have money to travel. I think a lot of people underestimate how much energy and endurance is required to go traveling, especially in some countries in Europe where there's so many stairs, you have to walk such far distances. Even sitting on a plane for 10 plus hours gets so much more difficult as you age. Your health and your physical abilities are like the #1 thing that's guaranteed to change as you get older. Traveling when you're young and energized and physically able to is so much better, even if you have to cut some corners and take the budget route.
I totally disagree with this. No one is saying you can only go on vacation when you're 65 years old. You can go in your 30s after you've saved up all your 20s. That would be ideal. Instead, everyone maxes out their credit cards when they're 20 and then have to pay it off during the next decade. And also, if you keep up with your health in your 40s and 50s, you can function just fine on vacation. If you've done everything right in your life, a vacation at 40 when you have no debt is going to be so much better. Some of the comments here. As someone who prioritized fun and experience in my 20s, I completely agree. I've traveled every year in my 20s, no regrets. I'm actually proud to say that I have an amazing 20s so far. I stay at hostels, eat on a budget, but I made so many memorable experiences. I understand the desire to travel while young, even if it's on the cheap, but I just put myself 1K further into debt for a weekend in Seattle. And that's exactly the problem. The US is getting so expensive right now that a weekend trip to Seattle can cost almost as much as your rent. We need to be smart here, people.
Booking a vacation on Afterpay for a trip where you plan to use your credit card that has a $5,000 credit limit when you have $0 in your checking account and you come home to bills is not the flex that you think it is. Even if you didn't think it was a flex, It's not the wise financial decision that you think it is. 68% of people who lock in and actually pay off credit cards rack those same credit cards back up not even a year later after just having them paid off.
She's completely right. People need to stop flexing their vacations on the gram to try to look cool in front of their friends. You're just wasting money on something people are going to look at for a second and then forget about. People might see your post for 10 seconds, think about it, and then move on. Was it worth $5,000 of debt for that? We've got another clip here of why someone goes on vacation when they're broke. Okay, so this one says, when people ask how I'm able to travel so young and broke AF, it's literally because I'm delusional. Everything will work out, and so far it has. Yeah, don't do this. It doesn't always work out. A lot of times, people like this spend and spend until they paint themselves in a corner. Once they've maxed all their cards, they end up panicking, looking for a quick fix for all their credit card balances. Then they end up doing a few things, which none of them are ideal. They'll either default on their debt and get their wages garnished, declare bankruptcy and have no credit for years, or they start begging people for money. Whether it's in person, on the internet, or social media, we've seen it plenty of times. Oh, please save me, I have too much debt. Some more comments here. How do you afford it? Honestly, I can't afford it, but it works out somehow. But as I've talked about, it doesn't always work out. Sponsored by Capital One? Yeah, I met a guy who was traveling for a year using money from his country's government he got for being unemployed. Well, that sounds like it should be illegal. Which actually brings up a really good point about how most people you see traveling haven't even earned the money to be there. Whether someone is funding their lifestyle or straight up committing crimes, don't be jealous of a person's vacations until you're sure how they actually afforded it. Speaking of crime, let's take a look at a woman who defrauded people traveling.
Travel agent is accused of scamming dozens of people out of over $50,000 for vacations that were never booked. Police say Tavia Thomas, the owner of Destiny Travel in East Meadow, received over $35,000 from 9 people for a Royal Caribbean cruise. But when they showed up to the port, they learned their tickets were fake.
So this woman was a travel agent who scammed a bunch of people. She made $50,000 by straight lying to her customers. She told people she booked a vacation for them, took their money, and then just put it in her pockets. The clip even goes on to say that this woman stole $5,000 from a newly married couple who were going on their honeymoon. Talk about scum of the earth. So this woman we're about to see also got scammed.
So this is a PSA to go check any of your mileage or airline booking accounts for fraud, because the craziest thing happened to me this morning. I woke up and I was just scrolling my emails, and then I got this, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't book anything. I don't have any upcoming travels. What's going on here? And then I scrolled down and saw this. I didn't book a hotel anywhere. But yeah, so somebody booked a hotel for Oahu this weekend under my name, and I didn't do that. And they used my freaking miles. Ugh! So freaking annoying. And of course, I didn't do this. So I was like, maybe I should go check my Alaska Airlines account, and this is what I saw. So mind you, I don't have any upcoming trips planned, and this is what I saw when I opened my Alaska Airlines account. Excuse me? So, John Whitey Sr., what the fuck kind of name is that? To hack my account, use my mileage, and book him a nice little first-class trip from LAX to Honolulu using my miles, which I have been saving up to book a first-class ticket myself and have not yet been able to do.
This is so frustrating. I think stealing from people is one of the worst crimes you can do. And how dumb do you have to be to steal a flight in a hotel room? You really think cops won't be waiting for you at the airport? Sometimes the people who scam you are closest to you. Check this out.
Let me tell y'all how my friend scammed me out of $676.86 on a trip and asked me to commit fraud to get it back. Now, we already had beef in Greece and we fell out, and she was getting on my nerves. But we made up before we hit Egypt. So I'm thinking we good, but why y'all, she tells me, I think you should pay more because you don't got no kids. Ma'am, what the hell they got to do with me? I didn't even invite you on this trip. Then she starts to tell me about how she has another friend that always pays extra because she got men to give her money. Well, girl, it sounds like you need to go on the trips with that friend. At this point before the trip, I had started to realize she was lying a lot and she was copying a lot of things I did. Now, fast forward back to the trip, she already had talked about how she went over her budget in Greece, which has nothing to do with me. Then when it's time to buy our tickets to Rome, this 30-some-year-old woman acting like she don't know how to book flights. Her card keep failing and decline. I'm telling her, call your bank, sis. She finally hits me and say, can you just book my ticket and I'll pay you back when I figure it out with the bank?
So I'm sure you can imagine exactly how that ended. Her friend was a huge burden to her the entire trip, couldn't pay, and then had her friend cover her for the trip expenses. When they got back, her friend told her she couldn't pay anything for the ticket. Shocking. It brings up a really good point of being careful who you pick as your friends. You might be cool with a group of friends for years, but then something changes in your group dynamic. Now all of a sudden, people are trying to take advantage of you. All I can say is trust your instincts. If you ever get the impression that your friends don't respect you or are trying to take advantage of you, cut them off. I'm serious. Keeping your dignity is way more important than having a bunch of fake people around you. Alright, let's take a look at how much some people are spending on their vacations.
The trips are coming up.
So,
please don't tell me trips are coming up.
Well, I've been trying to plan a Disney cruise.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's
for us
insanely expensive.
I
What is
know.
that? How much is that going to cost?
Well,
how much is that going to cost?
Okay, so this one says, POV, you spent $4,281 on a Disney cruise just to hear this sound. And then it's just the Disney theme song on the cruise.
Wondering how much it actually costs for a family of 4 to go on a Disney cruise? The price for 2 adults and 2 kids starts at $4,245.
$4,200. Can you believe that? How stupid could you be to waste so much money on a cruise like that? I'll never understand people's obsession with Disney. So many people will gladly shell out small fortunes just so they can have a Disney vacation. Here's another person who overspent on a Disney cruise.
Some of you think that over $7,500 Canadian is way too expensive for a Disney cruise. And you're right, that is a lot of money. But here's everything we didn't have to spend extra on. We didn't pay for food off the ship on private island days. Food was already there and included with our visit to the island. We also didn't pay for excursions just to enjoy those islands, because the beaches, water parks, and even the transportation around the island were already included. We didn't pay extra for entertainment, nightly shows, deck parties, character experiences, and movies were all built into the cruise cost. And so were the kids' clubs and all of the themed activities that they have planned every day, like the slime making party with Stitch, for example, which was nice because it didn't feel like we were just dropping the kids off for a free-for-all with no structure.
Okay, so I checked, and that's about $5,400 US. All I can do is shake my head, honestly. Then she tries to justify why it's okay she spent that much because everything was all-inclusive. It better be all-inclusive for that price. You could do so many better things with that money. Some more comments here. Exceptional customer service, plus all that is included. It's great value for a fabulous vacation. That's not bad at all. I went on a trip to Spain with my family and it cost us nearly double. Let's not normalize expensive vacations. Bragging about your family spending $10K to go on a vacation to Spain doesn't make it okay. I guarantee you could have a vacation for way less than what these people are spending.
Book that trip. Book that trip and put it on a payment plan. Life is too short. Life is too short to wait for others. Life is too short to not experiencing because you don't have the money right now. Baby, put it on a payment plan. Pay that shit off in 18 months. I don't know. Book the trip.
Some of the bravest people I ever met in my life were those that had like $13 left to their name and said some shit like, I should just take a vacation. We should take a vacation. Like, bitch, you have $13 left to your name. Where are you going? Doesn't matter. Let's just see where life takes us. Not very far!
If you travel with no money, I live for you. And I'm not talking about the people that like vacation type of travel. I'm talking about the bitches with a dream and $500. Bitch, I live for you. Bitch, you got $500 to your name. Somehow you across the country making your dreams happen. Bitch, I live for you. I aspire to be like you.
The sad reality is these kind of clips are endless. It seems the majority of people have given up on saving money, investing, and living a better life. They want it all, and they want it now. It doesn't mean we have to follow them. We can be the exception to the rule. I hope you all join me on this path of not spending money we actually don't have and putting it on the credit card. All right, that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, it would mean a lot to me if you could hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. If you thought this fraud was bad, check out my video on Section 8 fraud. So many people are scamming the American taxpayer. It's on the screen right now. And if nothing else, I will see you in the next one.